Welcome to another Friday Sews. My name is Cynthia and you're watching Mountain Accent Sewing. Thank you, Jen, at Today in Jen's Sewing Room for creating this hashtag Friday Sews. It allows sewers like myself to share life and sewing chit chat. Let's talk about what I've been into. I have to say I haven't got a lot of sewing done, but I am working on my hashtag Fabric Wheel of Fate second make. I'm wearing the reveal from my first make from the hashtag Fabric Wheel of Fate. If you want to go and see that video, go check out my last video. This is a Maison Fauve Palma top made in a beautiful Nerida Hansen Lion Coyote viscose fabric. And I really love the colors, and I'm so excited to have this new top to add to my wardrobe. It's going to be especially great for spring and summer, and I just put it on for this video specifically because it is much too cold outside to wear something like this now. Speaking of cold weather, the last 2 weeks in Western North Carolina have been much colder than usual. We had some brutally cold temperatures this past weekend. Our second storm, I guess, of the winter season. We first were hit by an ice storm 2 weeks ago, and this past weekend we had gorgeous, gorgeous snow. Beautiful snow. And I love snow. I always love getting out and playing in the snow, but with this one, you just couldn't stand to be outside for very long at a time. It was so cold that it would just cut you, and so when I went outside, I'd spend no more than 30 minutes at a time because it was just, so cold. And my skin, especially on my face, feels sunburnt or windburnt just from the time that I did spend outside. And I want to share some photos at the end and tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. So let's talk about the sewing. And so, I'm doing the hashtag Fabric Wheel of Fate. Thank Carole at Sew Carole for allowing other sewers to participate in this hashtag for the Fabric Wheel of Fate. And I know there's some other sewers participating, so go check out their videos if you want to see more about sewing fabrics from your stash, because that's what I'm trying to do, is some stash busting. I've got this crude wheel that my husband made me, and so far this is the fabric that I have sewn up. And this is the fabric that I'm currently working on. This beautiful fabric here. And this is a Dashwood Studio fabric that I purchased from Minerva. And I'm about over halfway through sewing up that fabric. So next week, look for my reveal for my second make from the wheel. Oh, so let's talk a little bit more about what I'd like to make. So I've made some, tops that are geared more towards warmer weather. And like I said, it's just been so brutally cold here that it made me start thinking, oh, I want to sew another sweatshirt. And I went through my stash and I found this pattern. It's a KnowMe pattern, ME2131. It's a unisex pattern. And I just want to make this sweatshirt. Well, I don't have fabric in my stash that would work for that. And I don't have ribbing fabric to work for that. And so I couldn't get this out of my mind this week. And so I've spent several evenings browsing different websites trying to source fabric and compare prices. And who knew that sweatshirting is so expensive? Everywhere I looked, it's very pricey. And then I was looking at, the fabric content. I didn't want just a straight polyester blend. I was okay if it was cotton polyester. I was okay if it was a bamboo cotton blend, spandex blend. And then there's like these 100% cottons, and I was trying to remember, do they have enough recovery? Which this one doesn't really call for, it doesn't say you have to have a lot of stretch in the main fabric, but you definitely have to have stretch in the ribbing in order to get it over your head. And it calls for ribbing at the wrist and at the hem band. And suitable fabrics is fleece, ponte, sweatshirt fleece, and terry knit. So, and then rib knit, I guess, for, you know, like I said, for the neck line and the wrist and the waist. But I couldn't get that out of my mind because it was just so cold. I kept saying, oh, I'd love to have another cozy sweatshirt. But I finally did source some fabric. I've ordered it from Oak Fabrics. I'm waiting for it to come. And I want to sew that up. And now it'll probably turn warm. And I won't need it anymore. Not this year. Maybe in the fall. But we'll see. So, yeah, I haven't really sewn much. I am thinking about things that I want to make. And that's where I need some more help. I'm wanting to look for a skirt pattern. So if any of you know of a great skirt pattern, please list it in the comments below. That's something that I've toyed with that I'd like to try making. I've never really worn a skirt. I don't even know how they would look on me, but I'd like to make one. So yeah, if you had a good skirt pattern, list it in the comments below. So I'm going to share some photographs at the end of this video and maybe a little video clip of the snow and tell you a little bit more about how cold it got. So we were in the single digits of Fahrenheit, so like 8 or 9 degrees Fahrenheit, I think, on the coldest night. But the wind chills made it feel like it was -2 or -3, something like that. And my son has a hunting dog, which I've shared pictures of Jubal here before, and he's an outside dog, and he's got a very well built house. It's well insulated, but because we were so cold for so long, like even our daytime temps were like 25 to 30, and the wind chills made it feel like it was like 11 to 12 even in the day for several days in a row. And so I went and bought a large crate and I put him in our utility room. And he's not really been in the house since he was a little bitty puppy, and we had him in for a little while, but he was still not really house trained. But he did awesome in the house for the 2 nights that we had to keep him inside. He's back outside now where he likes to be. But I just was so impressed at how well he behaved, and he was so adorable in the snow. This was his first real snow, and so I've inserted, a little bit of clips of him in the snow. I hope you enjoy. It's another short and sweet video this week from me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Look for my Fabric Wheel of Fate Make 2 video to come out next week. And I hope you all have a great week. Thank you for joining me. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know what you've got going on in your life. And I will see you next time. Have a great day.